you got to move on from Dak, in my opinion.
Here's the thing with this Cowboy team, the roster that's constructed and currently, in my opinion, and it has been this way since the Aikman-Emmitt Smith regime. The Aikman-Emmitt Smith regime, if you look at the roster and that team, there was a bunch of cats that backed up their talk. They talked the talk and walked the walk. They didn't put up godly numbers other than Emmitt Smith, of course, the records that he holds. But Aikman, I always call, one of my favorites, one of the best in the business, in my opinion. But then you say, oh, he doesn't have these godly numbers and blah, 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 blah. The reason is because they didn't need to. They earned results, and they showed up in every big game they ever played. You did not have to worry about Troy Aikman not showing up in a major game that mattered. Right. He was going to be 70% completions and going to make the right throws, make the right checks. He was going to be dicing it out there, handing it, fending it off, getting it to Novacek, moving the ball, moving the sticks, getting it to Harper on the backside, away from Irvin when he got double teamed. Could not double team Novacek, Irvin, and Harper, and play the run box with Emmitt Smith and Moose and that O-line you had to deal with. Plus, they had the best defense in football. Here's the thing. Ever since those rosters, this Cowboy team, every single one of them, after Aikman to the, who replaced Aikman? Shit. They had Quincy Carter, and they tried. They went on a horrible run at quarterback. The surrounding pieces have been fugazi. All of them, and I'm talking about right now's talented roster. To me, is bust. They're bust. CeeDee Lamb, I'm calling a bust. Micah Parsons, I'm calling him a bust. If you watch them in big games, they do not show up. CeeDee Lamb drops more big-time balls in critical situations than any other receiver in football, although he had the most catches during the regular season. See, people think that you get a lot of numbers and you're this guy. Show up when it matters. You didn't have to worry about Michael Irvin having 88 catches. Novacek had 90. Harper had 80. Like, this shit was spread out. CeeDee Lamb has 100 and whatever catches and then don't show up in the playoffs. Drop 2 critical balls in the playoffs. If you go look the other day, if you look at last year, if you look at every big game he's ever played in, he's a bust. He's great in the regular season when there's no pressure. The same with Micah Parsons, the same with a lot of these guys. We thought that Zeke Elliott was being replaced with Pollard, and Pollard was the next greatest fucking thing. What has Pollard done? It is a roster that is completely full of bust. And I could argue we spent all this money on this roster and Jerry Jones because of who they are. They're this big-time talented draft pick. They're this freak of nature. Oh, my God, I've never seen a cat walk around look like him. But they don't show up in the games that matter, and that is a fact. That is what this roster currently is, and that's what they're going to stay. You have to make a change, in my opinion. And I don't know if McCarthy's the change you need to make. He's won a Super Bowl with a guy and a bunch of guys around that guy in Green Bay that balled, that were there, performed, showed up. Mercedes Lewis's of the world. But now, by the way, he's had the best season ever with Dak Prescott. Yep. Remove Kellen Moore, and Dak Prescott had the best season ever. So the argument could be, hey, Jerry, you saw what I did with Dak this year. MVP caliber numbers. Just give me another year with them. Now, that could have been an argument in the room with Jerry to keep his job, A. And now he could say, listen, you saw what I did with Dak. I can do this with Kirk Cousins. I could do this with blah, blah, whoever it is out there. So he had 2 arguments, in my opinion, to keep his job. And I think Jerry realized, all right, I don't know if you're the problem. I think I agree with you. I think it's time. I don't know if you can go into next season and continue the same damn team, have the same team.
On now.
I'm going to win again. You can't no more. And it's shocking that they kept McCarthy, but I did not expect him to fire McCarthy either. But it is shocking only for the matter of fact that Pete Carroll's there.
Yep.
Belichick's out there.
Yep.
Jim Harbaugh's out there.
Yep.
That is what's surprising to me, that he's been kept. So I actually fucking respect the fact that Jones kept the dude as a coach from a coaching standpoint, because I don't believe it is always the coach that I think they get a lot of short ends of the stick to cover up for the high paid player, because we are in a player.
Easy way out. It's the easy way out, JB. It's like, all right, well, I'm paying this quarterback $100 million. I can't get rid of him. All right, get rid of the coach. You know what I'm saying? But
yep.
In this situation, I think it's the opposite.
That's what it is. I think that's what it is. And listen, is there a guy to come in and replace his numbers? It ain't about numbers anymore, in my opinion. Like, let's be honest. Lamar will win the MVP probably, but let's be honest. His numbers aren't, holy shit, 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. His numbers are mid, to be honest. He's just a dynamic player on a dynamic roster that does the right thing on a team that if you don't screw it up, our defense will handle it, our run game will handle it. I'll make explosive, crazy plays, but he doesn't have godly numbers. Like, let's be honest. You don't need to, in my opinion. I don't know if you need to have Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady numbers anymore, Peyton Manning numbers anymore in this current league. As I call watered down, I think you can win with numbers that Lamar Jackson has right now on a team that's constructed a little bit different in Dallas. If you go change that roster up a little bit, I think Kirk Cousins is actually a better fit in Dallas than Dak. I think you get rid of CeeDee Lamb because of the optics of the teams that see him be put on the trade block. People are going to be like, oh shit, I'll give you a 1, a 2, a 3. And you might get 3 freaks for CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, just look at the facts. He doesn't show up in big games.
Right.
And I'm just saying, like, I would try to change the roster is my point. That's all I'm saying. Change the roster somewhere, somehow, somewhat. And I think it starts at QB. Got to get you another receiver. I like their tight end, but you probably need another one.
Or whatever, yeah.
So it is what it is.
But it's crazy. One last thing, JB. I agree with everything you just said, but it's like coming to the season, we thought the Cowboys had a top 3 roster in the league. So it's like, if I'm Jerry Jones or I'm a G, like, if I'm like, what else do y'all want? Like, God, lead Dak. Like, you need that much help? Like, how much more do you need? When I look at your roster on paper, defense and offensively, you have everything you need.
I don't know about wideout, though. Their wideouts are suspect.
I get
like, you got Brandon Cooks, he's older, who hasn't had a grill because he's been injured.
He's
Gallup showed flashes early as a young kid. Hasn't really done anything else since.
Right.
Who else they got? They traded Wilson kid. Who else do they got? I just think Dak is very careless in the playoffs. I think the team. See, this is what happens with Dak. Let's just break down Dak real quick before we move on. Dak has to have everything perfect. Or if he doesn't, if he has a guy like CeeDee Lamb drop the ball, for instance.
Yep.
Dak puts all the onus on him and says, all right, now I got to force this dig because CD dropped the ball, whether Dak's in his mind like, oh, fuck man, he dropped the ball. Now he forces it and it's picked.
Right.
And that's what you see. You got to have guys catch everything around him. Or compared to a guy like a Brady or a big-time Aaron Rodgers or a Matthew Stafford who had Cup drop a ball in the Tampa game and then comes right back and throws that bang eight for a touchdown, where a lot of quarterbacks would have forced something to do a pick because they were pissed off and they didn't know what to do because I got the ball dropped. I don't know. Dak's not that guy. Dak will force something because he's just rattled that his guy dropped it and now he thinks he did his job. It's not on me. No, it is. You got to now make the next play great again because that's what you do for $150 million.
Right.
Like, that's what I don't think he has. As much as, you know, people like Dak and all that stuff, I don't think he has that fortitude to come back and say, fuck, Man, you dropped it. Fuck it. Let's go. Gallup, next. You're up next. They probably think I'm going back to CD Lamb because he dropped it. Nah, Gallup, you're going to be open on the backside dig route in the second window.
Right.
I don't see that.
But see, and I agree with everything you just said. The thing is, though, when is it perfect in football? You know what I'm saying? Like, so basically what we're saying is Dak's never going to win it all because it's never going to be perfect. Even go give him another star receiver, the opposite of CD Lamb. All right, it might be a little better, but at the end of the day, at some point as a quarterback, you have to step up to the plate and make plays when it matters the most. Even the most average quarterbacks, Joe Flacco, who to me has been pretty much average majority of his career, but that one good run he had in the playoff, he stepped up and played amazing. He made big plays in big time moments, and he got him some jewelry. So my thing is, if Dak ever wants to get a ring, he's going to have to step up. He can't depend on the defensive end to get 4 sacks or his receivers to make one-hand catches. No, Dak, they have to depend on you to not, at least bare minimum, not screw it up. And throwing pick sixes and back-to-back interceptions, and that's how you mess it up. At least go out there and be clean, throw 1 or 2 touchdowns, 200 passing yards, but no picks, and then let your defense kind of help you lead the way. Do that. But when you go out there throwing picks after picks and turn over the ball, it just – come on, bro. You're actually losing the game. So I think they got to move on.
The problem I have is, if you notice the teams they lose to is teams that run the football down their throat. Aaron Jones had 3 touchdowns the other night. They dominated the ball with play action passes. Jordan Love was very accurate, and he has 5 young receivers that he moved the ball around and spread it out to against the Dallas defense that we look on paper and it's like, oh, my God, they're going to dominate. Micah Parsons is going to dominate. Micah Parsons tapped out of that game because they ran the football down their throat. And when you run the ball at soft people, you create a narrative that says, hey, you're either going to nut up and gut up and meet me in a gap, or you're just a pretty pass rusher that's a freak of nature that's going to run right past the play as we run right down your throat. That is who Micah Parsons and that Dallas defense is. Look at who they played last year when they lost to the Niners. They got beat running down their throat. The Arizona Cardinals this year ran the ball down their throat. Seattle, when they lost to Dallas, but they should have won the game, ran the ball for 240 yards down their throat. And when you run the football versus the Cowboys and you show them that we're not going to look pretty, we're going to make you get out of your pretty, and you don't do it, that's what the Cowboys kryptonite, I guess, whatever you want to call it is. That is what you got to change on that roster. You need some dogs. You need some guys that want to come out. You want a guy to come out and catch the 10-yard ball and just fall down, get hit. Now, fuck it. Here, I'm gonna catch a 10-yard ball every single time, though. Yeah. Like, you need a guy to stop, just blow up A-gap and take on the double. You may not ever make the play. But guess what? Everyone else comes and swarms it up. They don't have that one guy. Everybody now, I agree with Ray Lewis, everything now is an individual effort play to get an individual bag.
Right.
And there's no more team tackling. There's no more team running. There's no more. You saw the Pickens of the world this year not even care about the run game and dot block and get a guy blown up. It's all me now. And it's all my bag. It's all, what do you do for me? What I get. It's not that. Football didn't used to be that way. And if it was that way, we used to call you out or get your ass whooped in the locker room privately. Motherfucker, you didn't want to block for me? Like, dog, that would have been a problem, homie, back in the day. And it wouldn't even have been by probably the running back. It would have been by the O-line, and the defensive players would have came over there. This was a team thing. Nowadays, it ain't no team thing. Whoever wins a Super Bowl, in my opinion, and even in college football, I think it is straight up luck of the draw as far as who wins the game. Like, whoever makes the biggest play at the right time. I think if somebody lined up in one of those games in 21 personnel and ran ISO and power the whole game and play action pass a few times, they would win every game. I don't think anybody wants to turn down. Nah. I think people turn down a fullback today's age right now. If I got into 2-3 fullbacks on a roster and I just rotated fullbacks and ran A-gap, ISO at your ass, I don't think there's a backer in the league or in college that wants to hit a fullback 70 plays a game.
And that there ain't no fullback or running back trying to get hit 70 plays a game, and they don't have the energy to do so.
But
and
I put a line back there. I'll put a fucking lineman in there.
Yeah, but now I'm putting 8 in a box. O-lineman fatigue after 70, 80 plays. Like, nah, man.
Eight in the box doesn't do nothing to me. If 8 people are in the box and you're all soft, it don't mean shit.